channel. I'm Blind OG, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of Madden Ultimate Team or MUT. Now, I have played a little bit of this, but I haven't really played it that much. Um, the There's parts of it that is not exactly accessible, but as you might see in some of these challenges that we have to complete. So, for those who don't know what Madden Ultimate Team is, pretty much what it is you play through challenges, and when you complete challenges on different difficulties, you earn rewards, and you can earn players and a whole bunch of other stuff, and then you put together, like an ultimate team. So there are parts of it that are accessible and there are parts that are not. And hopefully, this is something that will get fixed or overhauled in Madden 21. I threw up some suggestions to Karen Stevens on Twitter the other day. She had a tweet up there about what types of things are needed for Madden 21. And some of the things I mentioned were having like game status information displayed in the pause menu. So, like when you pause the game, you can get the information about the score, which is really important, and downs and yardage. That's something that's really important. Timeouts remaining. That's something that's really important, and just things like that, just information that uh that sighted people get, just having it um accessible to the screen reader pretty much. And that was the main focus of a lot of the accessibility suggestions that I had for Madden 20. um Also, the draft in franchise mode is not accessible, making that accessible to screen readers. Um, let's see what else. Oh, and the playbook. That's a huge thing. I'm not saying to go into detail as far as trying to figure out a way to describe the plays. Like, nah, not at all. What I mean is some of the basic plays that you have in a playbook to just put a name on them. Like you have um plays that are, or just by formation, like you have plays that are called from shotgun. Like have that in there so that some of those plays are shotgun plays, or have some kind of thing to denote in the playbook what is a pass play and what is um a run play. It's just pretty simple. So having something like R for run, P for pass, like, and with using the screen reader or using the menu narration or however they are going to put that in there, um, it doesn't really have to be a visual thing. Just for people who use the uh, the narration feature, have just a letter says run, or R for run, P for pass. Defense can be a lot of the same stuff. You got man defense, you got zone defense, and everything in between. Also having a section for special teams. Like if I want to kick it, or maybe I want to do a fake. Just being able to have that as an option, just like having the playbook open so that I can make better decisions as far as playing this game and reaching new difficulty levels. Like that's a huge thing. Like for me, I play on a couple different levels, but it gets tougher to play at higher levels when I don't have access to the plays. So it's a little bit tougher because using the Madden button, which is A, when you in your playbook, and what that does is it will pick the best play that it thinks is for the situation you're in, and sometimes that's cool, but you still don't know what play that is. So they do have a rumble event, that rumble's longer if it's a throw and shorter if it's a run, but you only get that after you hike the ball. So being able to really choose plays and get more in depth in Madden is what I'm looking for. Like, I really hope that they um take that into consideration for the next title because I've been, like a pretty much a fan since 18. Like I bought 18, actually 17. I bought I bought 17, 18, 19, 20. I really didn't play much of 19 because it wasn't that great. 18 I played a bit of. And then this one, which is the most accessible in the franchise, I've played tons on because it has, lots of accessibility features that I can, allow me to play. So, I think they're doing a really good job over there. The good people, shout out to Karen Stevens, which, she's really good as far as accessibility goes with EA. Love how she takes into consideration lots of ideas and things like that. And I understand there's a timeline, and there's a crunch, and not everything can get in. I totally understand that. You know, so picking through what's most important um, is something that is totally valid. And also, blindness is not the only accessibility feature that they have in Madden. So I totally understand that. So I would say the number one feature, if I had to just choose one for for me personally, and not just personally, but also for people who are blind, I would say the playbook. Like labeling every play in the playbook. And I know that there are tons of plays and then each team has their own plays and all that kind of stuff, but setting up something that will allow people who use narration or people who are totally blind to have access to the playbook is like I think is the most important. Um, yeah, by far the most important. Like because that right there is really what can help out when you have all these leagues and stuff, Madden leagues and stuff. And I personally don't know of any blind people who play in them. Not to say that there aren't. I just haven't heard any. But just being able to pick a play, like I mean, knowing when a a player is open, that's something that's like I mean, there's not really any accessibility for that as far as being blind. Like you kind of have to kind of just guess, kind of a deal. Um, but like I said, knowing when um, what options you have is something uh, that's super important. Especially a game like this, like you're controlling a team and you're giving them commands essentially. Like you're giving them commands on what they should do and all that kind of stuff. And so it's it's hard to give commands if you don't know what options are available. Even though this is playable, it's still playable. But that would be something that would be, you know, really, really, really good. So, so yeah, games like this, like Madden, is the only franchise that I've stuck with, you know, um, for this long. As far as like accessibility goes, it's super important. So, and as long as they keep year in year out, um, advancing in their accessibility, then I'll remain a loyal fan, loyal customer, all that. Like I'm not looking to get free games or anything like that. Like this is my hobby and I am fine with paying, like paying for a game just like everyone else. Like I don't want to be, getting free codes or anything like that. Um, but I'd like to, have some other stuff in here so that I can play it, even better. So so yeah. So all right, enough rambling.
Pause
Let's
broadcasting.
get
Button.
into
Guide for blind 83 window. Capture and
let's
share
get
tab.
into
7 of
some Ultimate Team.
Ultimate Team. Pop-up dismiss.
Oh, and speaking of that, so things like this where it just said pop up dismiss, having accessibility for this right here. Like all it says is dismiss. It doesn't actually say what the pop up is. And that's the same thing as in game for injuries and also for penalties. It's the same thing. Like you can hear through the commentators what the penalty is, and that will help you, be able to stay in the game and, and all that kind of stuff. But there's no accessibility for choosing whether you want to keep the play or, like keep the penalty or not. So I think that is something that really should be fixed. And then also, like I was saying, injuries. In game, when the injury pop up comes up, it doesn't actually tell you what comes up. None of the pop ups in game tell you what's going on. You just kind of hear a sound that sounds like someone turning the pages on a book, but you don't get that information, and that's something that's super important. Like getting all the information that I can as a player to be able to make the best choices for my team will, raise the percentages that I can win, and that's the point of playing a game like this is to win. So as of right now, although there are tons of accessibility features and it is accessible, since accessibility is a wide definition, right? Like, I mean, you could have a, colorblind mode and it is technically your game is accessible, because it's accessible to people with color blindness. But there's tons of other people, and that's something that I think as gamers, like, you know, whatever your disability is, like something that you have to keep in mind that, it's not just your type of disability, it's everybody's, and that's why I try to keep that in mind. Um, as I said earlier, there's lots of work to be done as far as Madden 21 goes. It should be coming out next few months, I would think, end of the year probably. So so yeah, uh, so yeah, pop-ups like this. I don't really know what this pop-up says. So just hit dismiss because
Missions.
I have no clue what it's telling me.
Missions.
All right,
Entering
so
new items screen 50 coins.
and then also things like this, like rewards. Like okay, so all I can really do is press A on that because I can't read
Entering
what
new
it
items
says.
screen you have two options. Madden Ultimate Team collectible is selected.
So I have two options. for collectibles.
MCS Champion Token Madden Bowl Collectible. Madden Bowl Mythic
So
Collectible. Quick Solo is
guess I'll
selected.
choose that one. I have no clue what that is. uh, and then here's another screen that is not really accessible. I'm trying to navigate it and it just doesn't say anything. So I'm just gonna hit
Entering
A.
Quixel pop-up Quixel Mythic to gain 50 coins. No. Yes. MCS Champion Token Madden Bowl Collectible. Add to set is selected. Entering Add to set pop-up when you add this item to the MCS Champion pack set. It will leave your item binder and you can quick sell, auction, or trade that item. Cancel. Can cancel. Cancel. Add to set.
All right.
Missions.
Another thing that I mentioned was training, practice. Like although there are games that have mini narration and stuff like that, they usually fail to add accessibility to um, a lot of the tutorials and stuff like that. Madden is no different. Like in practice, none of the stuff is read out. There's no voice that tells you what you're supposed to be doing. Just stuff like that. Like, it's pretty simple stuff. So hopefully that is something that can be looked into.
NFL Draft. Play you have 6 options. Challenges is selected.
All right, so
Solo
challenges.
battles. Challenges. Missions you have 25 options. NFL Draft is selected.
Draft is not accessible in any mode. So whether it be franchise or in here, so I'm not gonna mess with that.
Play you have 6 options. Challenges is selected.
All right, so we're gonna see about challenges. All right, so in here
Entering
you
challenge
complete
select
challenges.
screen you have 21 options. Assemble your team is selected. Power-ups. Ultimate Legends.
So
Power-ups.
I don't know
Assemble
if
your
it tells
team.
you which ones that which ones you've completed when you play. Let's see.
Entering assemble your team challenge screen you have 5 options. Deep threats is selected. The next level.
And then also you can come back and do different challenges
Key core offense is selected. Starting off right is selected. Starting off deep threats.
and
The
do
next
things
level.
on different levels. So
Entering power ups.
all right, so I'm just gonna choose one of these
Entering power ups challenge
because I
screen
can't
you have 3
remember
options. Milestones is selected.
which one
Absolute
I did
power.
the
Power
last
struggle.
time.
Absolute power. Entering absolute power sequence screen you have 6 options. Cordell Stewart is selected. Nate Burleson.
So like
Navarro
right
Bowman.
here,
Corey
they have a
Schlesinger. Sean Phillips. Jason
bunch of
Ellum.
different players.
Sean
So I'm
Cordell
just gonna
Stewart.
choose one because I have no clue what
Cordell
this is
Stewart
for.
sequence setup. You have 8 options. Easy is selected. Play solo. Easy.
All right, and like right here, this is it's weird. Like it's not that this is not accessible, even though I hear this. You have to go
Super
down and then
silly
go
is
back
play
up,
solo.
and then
Normal.
it'll tell you it's on normal, right? That's easy, normal,
Play solo. Hard.
and now it's on hard. All right, so I'm gonna do
Play
normal,
solo.
and I'm gonna play this solo. You can choose people from your friends list, and then they can play with you. So I think you can play against each other and stuff like that as well. So it does explain to you what the challenge is, as far as I can remember, when you get in here.
Hello, everyone. You're watching Ultimate Challenges, and I'm your host, the coach. Let's get back to Brandon and Charles for the call.
All right, so that screen right there is not accessible. And
After
then
a rare
telling you,
scoreless
like,
first half, these teams now just looking for something
about
as the second
pointless,
half
that
gets
would be,
underway. And it's a short
that
kick
would be
taken
nice.
out beyond the 20. And he's all the way up
Like,
across
because
the
as
40.
of right now,
And down at the
it just
42-yard line. Great
rumbles
return.
as a rumble event.
Well, that return gives them a golden opportunity to go out in front. How will the defense respond after giving up that type of a return?
Now the attention turns back to the Rams offense as they get ready for their first possession of the second half. There are 0 points on the scoreboard for either side. It'll be interesting to see what adjustments were made. The defenses have obviously been great.
So if you like defense, this is a classic game. This is what you're looking
So
for.
really,
But now you're trying to figure out.
another thing is it didn't
Entering
even tell
pause
me
screen. Resume.
what the challenge was. So right now, I don't even really know what I'm supposed to be doing. You know, in some of the other challenges, it tells you to gain a certain amount of yards, throw, you know, some touchdowns, or run for a certain amount of yards or something like that. This didn't really
How
say
to gain
anything.
any type of an advantage on offense. Is it through a big chunk play that they haven't seen before? Or is it just running your regular offense and running it better, trying to create an opportunity?
We'll see which avenue they choose to go down. That's a gain of 13, first down Rams. And a nice little broken tackle run there by Todd Gurley, the 10th pick in the 2015 draft.
And that's what you get with him, that full package of speed, power.
So what I'm just gonna
going to
do is
Many
write a
people
score.
doubted him
Pretty
coming
much,
out because of the knee
you know,
injury in
I don't know what
college.
else
They're seeing the full Todd Gurley now, and it hurts.
Now
really
we
do
carry
as
for the
far as
fullback. This is Tommy Bohannon. So a nice job to break the one tackle, but not much daylight after that as he's brought down. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be second down.
But like I said, the commentary is really good as far as giving you information, but still having something in the pause menu, which is
Now on second
really
down, this
crucial.
is Gurley.
Because if I miss
And
something
he works it
when they're
past
talking,
the 30, almost to the 25. That's a gain of 13, first down Rams.
and there are tons of times when I'm playing this that I have to wait for the commentators to say something to give me the information that I'm looking for. Like, for example, when I pick a play, when I pick a
Entering
play
pause screen.
and
Resume.
say it's a play where it could be either a pass, or a handoff or a running play, like, I have to wait for them to say, you know, oh, they handed off to the back to know which mode to go into. And that's like, you know, like seconds after, you know, you hike the ball. Or the pass play. Sometimes I get the long rumble and I think it's a pass play, but really it's a run play, you know, so there's times when that happens. Or there's times when I want to go for the yardage on 4th down and not kick, you know, and right now, pressing the A button, when you're on 4th down, you pretty much automatically kick. Like, there are times where it'll go for, like, you know, it'll go for it, but not a lot, you know, and having that type of control over, you know, my team is really crucial for winning. Like, really, it is. You know, like, just think about it as if, you know, like, if sighted people couldn't pick their plays, like, you know, and they just had to just press A to pick plays, you know, like, right? So it's the same thing, you know, like, you know, people who are disabled, you know, purchase the game just like sighted people, and we'd like to have the game totally accessible just as sighted people do. That's pretty much, you know, pretty much it.
He
So,
touches the rock.
all right, so there's that page flip I was telling you guys about that doesn't say anything. So
on the
I'm gonna
heels
hit
of the
A.
run by Todd Gurley, another 1st and 10.
You don't want none, baby. You don't want none. Hey, you don't want to see me.
from the shotgun now. Here's an inside give. And the result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves him with
See, like
2 to
right
go
there,
on second
that's a
down.
shotgun inside give. So it's a shotgun formation, which normally has a lot of pass
this third quarter of action.
plays.
You are watching Madden
And
Ultimate
so
Team
when you
on EA Sports.
choose that play, which I didn't choose, I just hit A, it makes it seem like it's a pass play. So as soon as I feel that, I'm getting into pass mode. You know, like going through my progressions, trying to figure out who's open, right? But then it'll say it's a run, and then I have to immediately switch from that into run mode, which the controls are different, because if you hit B, which in passing is to throw to, you know, one of your receivers, in running, B is like a spin move, you know, so it's, you know, it's a little bit tough, but opening up that playbook
Here's
is
Gurley.
really something that
And now they're going to get him
that is
down right
needed.
at the line of scrimmage. He
Just
got
to make,
maybe
just
a
to be able
half
to
yard
make
at most, but officially
better
they'll be
decisions.
left with a 3rd and 2.
You know, because like I'm really into Madden. I love Madden, and I really would like to be able to play on a higher level and have more control over,
They'll
you know,
try and
what's
pick
going
up the
on.
first with Gurley. And he takes it down to the 13 and picks up the first. Now the defense going to use the first of their timeouts. And they'll be disappointed to have to burn one there after giving up the first down. All runs on this drive so far. It's 1st and 10.
And that's another reason why I don't really throw.
Now it's
Because
Gurley.
running is more
So we got
comfortable.
3 of 1 tackle, but couldn't do a whole lot else. The Steelers signal for the second of their timeouts as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming second down play. The run got 4. Now they deal with a 2nd and 6.
All right, pick up
Gurley.
46 yards.
And he'll be brought down right on the edge of the goal line at about the 1-yard line. Now the Steelers going to use their 3rd and final timeout as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. A game-winning field goal would be a chip shot from here. Let's see how they play it on 1st and goal. They'll look to run it with Bohannon. And no signal yet. I don't think he got in. He didn't. They'll mark him at the 1. Calling no gain, and it's going to be 2nd and goal.
Let's go.
Another shot from the 1 on 2nd and goal.
Dang,
And trying
let
to
me
push
in.
forward, but he is going to be stuffed up in the backfield. It'll be a loss of 1, and that's going to bring up an interesting 3rd and goal. The Steeler defense proving its mettle here. And now this is 3rd and goal. Boy, no chance as he was met and dropped behind the line there. That'll back him up 2 yards and also bring up 4th.
Partner, you've got about 20 coaches on your payroll, but there's 60,000 of them in the stands. I don't think any of them like that play.
And the later we go, it's starting to sound like 100,000 in here.
All right, so now I'm at the screen where I need to pick a play, and it'd be nice not to have to kick. So I'm going to go out.
So 4 quarters wasn't enough, and we are off to overtime. Don't change that dial. And here in overtime, if the team that receives the ball scores a touchdown, it's over. If they don't, we can still have some more football.
That's exactly right. If they go down and kick a field goal, the other team gets a possession to either match it or score a touchdown to win the ball game. If both teams kick field goals, the next team to score wins. But if the receiving team throws a pick 6 or fumbles the ball and it gets picked up by the defense and they score, the game is over at that point.
Nothing between these two teams for 4 quarters. Here we go to begin overtime. This will be taken way up by the 25.
All right, so I'm kicking off to them.
Field position here to start as they get out to the 40-yard line.
That's a pretty strong return to start this overtime, and you know that if you run some decent offense, you should have a shot at a field goal. But I'd have to think to myself, I want the 6 points. I want
you know,
this game
another thing
over
that
now.
would
I
be
don't
really
want to give
nice
the other team a chance
is
to come back and beat me.
switching players in game, being able to have the names called out. because on the field it has the names and has a circle that goes around the players.
And they'll get this well past
so
midfield
being able to push left and right on defense.
Good yardage as he rumbles for 24.
Or even having a throw system that locks in your target. Like that only you can see, but that locks in your target. So for example,
pause screen, resume.
Having the cursor or the reticle or whatever you want to call it that lets you know what character you're controlling. Being able to move from left to right to choose your target. Say if I want to throw a pass to my number one receiver, right? So choosing him, like as soon as I pick a play, choosing him as my hot route, and then being able to hike, and then as I go through my progressions, like I can still be able to choose him as my number one. That would be really dope. Like, because I mean, right now, like the wide receivers are kind of designated as XYB pretty much, or if you change up your controller settings, depending on your controller settings. And then so you can throw to X, you can throw to Y, you can throw to B. And right now, really what you do is you hit all of those buttons. Like you go, XYB, XYB, XYB. And in that progression, if someone is open, then the quarterback will throw. If someone's not open, then he won't throw. So, but being able to just choose someone ahead of time and then keep kind of hitting that button until they are open, and then being able to pass is something that I think would be really nice as far as accessibility goes. And also, not just for disabled players, but for sighted players. I'm sure a lot of sighted players would be able to use it. But there might be something like that already in the game. It just might not be accessible. So, all right. But yeah, that would be a really dope way to help out, with throwing.
So from Rams territory now, it's 1st and 10 at the 36. A quick throw complete to Washington. And now running right through it.
Wow.
The Steeler first down on the pickup of 11 yards.
Well, coaches always talk about finding balance on offense. I don't think you get much more balance than this. Big time run, big time pass.
Well, 1-2 combination.
And then also
pretty good.
having audibles be accessible.
Now
if I want to change plays on the fly, being able to hit the button that I want to change it to, and having something say, what play I've changed it to, that kind of thing. Having full support for narration is what I'm talking about.
Before the second down play, we'll get a whistle, a signal, and a timeout. They'll be left with just one remaining here at OT.
And none of these features or none of these, ideas will really hurt any other player. It's not something that's going to mess up how sighted people play or how people with other disabilities play or anything like that. It's just adding
to counter on the draw
to Madden.
And he is in for the score. And it is absolute stunned silence here as they win it on the road in overtime.
Overtime. They got me. So I guess I was supposed to...
Well, unfortunately, no win on this attempt, but you can select to replay the challenge and be sure you pay attention to the challenge goals.
Pay attention to the challenge goals. I don't even know what the challenge goal was. That's pretty funny. All right, so another thing, accessibility after the challenges, right? Like right here. Like this is where screen reader support needs to be implemented, so that I can know what options I have here. I have no clue what options I have, so I'm just hitting A. Maybe it'll retry, maybe not. It didn't. Went to another option. So I don't know what this option is, but it's not working. So I'll go down to another option.
Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3.
We're restarting.
And it's a short kick, taken right around the 19. Now that should give his guys a spark. He's up all the way to the 44-yard line.
But that return gives him a golden opportunity to go out in front.
This time, I got to score.
After giving up that type of a return.
The Rams offense now, they get set and head back onto the field. They've shown precious little here offensively thus far as they try again with a first down now. They'll start out on the ground with Gurley. And he was able to shed the tackle, but the reserves come in for the stop. 5 yards is the tally on first down. That brings up 2nd and 5. They'll stick to the ground game with Gurley. And the reinforcements
like that one right there. I didn't know if that was a run play or if it was a throw play.
It also brings
because it rumbled like a pass play.
Run blitz. He just darted in once he saw the run develop. That appeared to be a case of see ball, get ball.
Not only is it not accessible, it also confuses me sometimes. And I'm a person that has played hours and hours of Madden, and I still get picked up on that kind of stuff.
Out of the gun, Newton. And he's going to go down.
See, like, right now, I thought that might have been the same play because it was a run play, and it had the same rumble event as a pass play. So when I picked the play this time, I thought maybe that it would be the same run play, and it was a pass play. So now I got
they snap it to Newton. Cam fighting. He lost the football. It's out. No luck for the Rams as they fail here on 4th down. And the Steelers, they're going to take over an excellent field position.
On plays like this, when the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back. Because this is the quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction.
Of course, it's not a perfect system. No game is. In this case, but there's tons of room for improvement.
Connor on first down going to be stopped up as he'll lose about 3. That's going to wind up a loss of a full 3 yards on first down. So both teams scoreless here as we're through 3 quarters of play. You are watching Madden Ultimate Team on EA Sports. Now on 2nd and 13, Roethlisberger.
Well, another thing that's really important is being able to
leads to a 3rd down.
add to your defense. There's certain plays where you add more rush players and stuff like that. And that information is another thing that's really, really crucial. Like being able to stop on 3rd.
The catch on 2nd down, but it didn't help at all. And now they're looking at 3rd down here.
Because as a player, if I don't agree with what the Madden engine thinks, then I should be able to choose what I want.
At the 23, the Steelers able to pick up 18 yards there.
But they picked up a little bit of yardage there, and now, in this situation, should be in no hurry to run a play really fast. Let the clock wind down.
Right back to Connor here on first. And down inside the 15 he goes. The Steeler first down on the pickup of 11 yards.
Well, partner, I know this type of running back. I mean, this size, this intensity usually gets better as the game goes on. I just tell you from experience, the first few quarters, you're eager. You come running up there, I'm going to tackle this guy. By the 4th quarter, you're coming up and thinking about it.
And D-line wearing down 4th quarter. Yeah, that's not a guy they want to see consistently. A game-winning field goal would be a chip shot from here. Let's see how they play it on 1st and goal. They'll look to run with counter. And that's a touchdown as they've broken our tie here in the final minute of the 4th.
Damn.
So we have a score to report after all. How about this?
Whoa. Stop the press. Yeah, I know. I just broke broadcasting 101. I cut in on my play-by-play guy. But think about it this way. Marvin, our crack researcher, just handed us a note. We haven't had a scoreless tie in the NFL since 1943. 43.
And we will not have history here in this one, partner. Our first points of the game come in the 4th quarter.
I don't think that either one of us saw this game unfolding this way when it all began.
No, absolutely not.
So I guess the challenge
now
is
it's
just
still
to
just
win.
a one-score game, so don't go anywhere. A lot more to play for. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get it up to the 29-yard line.
All right, so what I'm going to be trying to do is
Cam Newton and his offense,
and of course,
down by 7, 27 seconds to go.
Entering boss
like,
as they come up 1st and 10.
of course, I can't choose.
Back to throw. And he can't hang on to it. That would have sealed him. Instead, 2nd down.
So with that one, I heard the commentator say back to throw, so I knew it was a throw play, and he said it pretty quick. Usually when they're talking and they're on some of their long dialogues, it's hard to hurry up and get a hike in.
Back to throw. And that's complete. It's Allington.
It's hard to get a hike in, you know, with the time running down and all that kind of stuff, and you have to wait. You have to wait for them to stop talking.
Just quicker than fast. A lot of them combine quickness and speed, and they catch
like
a
right
lot of
now,
footballs, as we just saw there.
I gotta wait so that I can hear what they're gonna tell me.
Now it's Newton. He's gonna let it fly. And that'll be incomplete with 11 seconds remaining now.
Entering pause screen. Call timeout.
The Rams going to go ahead and use the first of their timeouts.
I thought he got that
with
pass.
11 seconds remaining in the ball game. Down 7, and they've got to go for it here on 4th down.
So right now,
Newton. They go with a shuffle pass, and it's complete. They had to go for it with such little time remaining. And the Steelers, they're going to take over an excellent field position. So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. Down to a knee here. The defense still with a couple of timeouts. We'll see if they want to use them.
Those games pretty much over.
Right, not the result that you were hoping for. Don't sweat it, though. You can replay the challenge right now or at any time later on.
All right, so yeah.
Entering challenge select screen. Entering blind dog 83 screen. You have 3 options. Gained at least 50 offensive yards is selected.
Oh. So that's what I was supposed to be doing. I needed to gain at least 50 offensive yards. Alright.
Entering challenge select.
Select.
Entering absolute power sequence screen. You have 6 options. Cordell Stewart is selected. Cordell Stewart sequence setup. You have 8 options. Easy is selected. Play solo. Easy.
So right now what I'm trying to do is see if there was something I missed as far as the challenge goes.
SU21 is selected. Play
so
easy.
So right now I can choose
play solo.
The difficulty, easy. And I can also choose to play against other people, but it doesn't tell me the actual challenge. After I failed the challenge, it had that little thing where it said I was supposed to gain 50 yards of offense. So, you know, that kind
Entering
of thing
absolute
is,
power sequence screen. You have 6 options.
It's something
Cordell
that is,
Stewart
is
selected.
it's like ridiculous, you know, and needs to have an update so that it's accessible to screen readers. You know, not just accessible, but accessible to screen readers in this, you know, in this situation. So
Nate Burleson.
So yeah.
Entering power-ups challenge screen, you have 3 options. Absolute power is selected.
So yeah, that's pretty much as far as Ultimate Team and the accessibility goes. Pretty much it. Like, there's just a bunch of different challenges in here. You may or may not get the information you need to complete the challenge at this time if you're a blind, a totally blind player. So
Power
yeah, that's
struggle.
pretty much it. There's
Entering challenge
needs
select screen, you have 21 options. Power-ups is selected.
to have a little bit more screen reader support is pretty much it. And I know that Madden will be coming out. The next Madden will be coming out here pretty soon. So I'm pretty sure, the updates on this is, they're, probably at the tail end of the updates if they're still updating. They might not even be updating this anymore. So hopefully, um, hopefully, team over there can get a few more of these options in, and just like, if I had one thing to say to game developers, it's just, like, when you are creating a game, just ask the people that you're creating the game for. Like, there are tons of people from all walks of life. Like, if you're looking for accessibility, then ask the people that you are implementing features for. Like, if you are doing features for people who are deaf, like ask them, and they'll tell you exactly what they need to play your game. you know as far as being blind and visually impaired, um making icons larger, names larger on the field, playbooks larger for people who are visually impaired, so they have a little bit vision left. For people who are totally blind, just play your game blindfolded. Can you, without using memory, can you go through the menus? Can you go through the playbooks? Can you pick the plays? Can you play how you want to play your team blindfolded? That's pretty much it. Or, reach out on Twitter and ask, because there's tons of people who would be more than happy, me included. I'd be more than happy to talk to developers about what types of features um could be useful from a blind person's um perspective. So so yeah, that's it. That's Madden Ultimate Team, the accessibility review. I guess I would give this maybe 75% out of 100. I mean, as far as accessibility goes, because like the menus, well, some of the menus are accessible, like, out of when you're off the field. Some of the menus are accessible on the field. None of the information is accessible as far as what you're supposed to do. Um, None of those message pop-ups are accessible. You can pretty much play if just play normally. But when you're in Madden Ultimate Team, you're trying to complete challenges. You're not just trying to play, like, just to play, like as if it was an exhibition. You're actually trying to complete goals. So you have targets in mind that you need to reach. And if it's not accessible, then, hard to reach targets if you don't know what the targets are. So, um, can't wait for 21 to come out. Definitely gonna be one of the first in line to get that, download that, and check out the new features. Hopefully, the accessibility has, will have the playbook I'm really hoping that it has the playbook, like, because I mean, if it doesn't, then there's really no reason to buy Madden 21. Like, like if it doesn't have the playbook, because it, it'll be just like this Madden, it'll be just like 20. So, um, but yeah, I'll definitely do a review. As soon as I get it, I'll definitely do a review, um, so that people who are blind will know what they're getting with 21, just like all the rest of these games. Like if I do a review on it, I'm hoping to save some people some money instead of just getting a game that they hear is accessible and might not be totally accessible for whatever disability you have. Because like I said, the term accessibility is very, very broad. So just because it's accessible to people who are visually impaired does not make it accessible to people who are totally blind. So, and vice versa, actually. Just because you make a game accessible to someone who is totally blind doesn't mean someone who is visually impaired is going to want to use those same features. Maybe they do want to use their vision, so something like larger icons and stuff is what they need. So it's particular. The features are particular, but the technology is here. Like, we have it. Like, we in 20 and 21 we have the technology to make Madden accessible, like totally accessible. So uh so yeah, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Hit the like button if you like the content, and also I'll be posting this up so that like some of the developers and some of the people at EA can check it out. I mean, if they want to check it out, I'm gonna post the link. So if they do check it out, that's awesome. If not, hey, at least you tried, right? So throw up, if you have any comments about Madden, if you're a Madden player and you're blind, then throw up comments that you'd like to see. Because like, EA can't really change things that they don't know about. So, they're not psychics. So if no one says anything and you have a feature that you think would make gameplay better, then throw it up, or get on Twitter and get into the conversation. Tons of developers, tons of studios are on Twitter, and that's one of the best ways to get in contact with a lot of these studios, a lot of these developers. So yeah, get out there and get heard, so we can get more of these accessibility options implemented into the games that we like to play. So thanks for checking out the video. Thanks for spending time on the channel. Like, subscribe, comment. Let me know if this was a good video. Let me know if it was a bad video. Let me know what you think about Madden 21. And I will catch y'all later.
Guide tab, 5 of 8. Narrator mode. Horizontal system actions, My Games and Apps, button, 1, Store, button, 2 of 3.
Alright.
Guide tab, 5 of 8. Horizontal store, button, alerts, 2 unread alerts, store, button, 2 of 3. My Games and Apps, button, 1 of 3. Controller mode.
Entering.
Guide tab, Communication tab, 1 new, Capture and Shared, Start, Capture Screenshot, Broadcasting, Live on Mixer. Overlay 1, Window, Stop Broadcast.